Hey, this is your boy, Bishop Michael L. Smith, pastor of New Covenant Christian Center and Jericho Ministries. You're now watching the Life Daytime Talk Show. Tune in.
Hello, everyone. This is the Life Daytime. I'm Tanisha Craig Stewart.
I'm Patricia Whitfield.
And I'm Lisa Cook.
As you know, it is Halloween season, trick or treat, hallelujah night, whatever you can refer to. But this is a time where people are wearing masks, they're wearing costumes, but we want to dig a little deeper on today, and we're talking about that internal mask. So today, we want to take those masks off. And we encourage you, the audience, to take them off as well. Yes, we have shells, yes, we wear masks, but are we missing out on an opportunity, on a blessing, on a connection that we could have experienced, but we're hiding because of the fear, the hurt, the disappointment?
Some of you may not know, but we didn't know each other previously to filming together. Our first time ever meeting each other was on our first day of filming. So we had no idea who our co-hosts were, what were they like. So ladies, what were your first impression of each other?
That's a great question.
Absolutely.
I'll start, I said, with Miss Lisa. Like Patricia said, we did not know each other. Even on social media, I don't think any of us knew who each other were. So when I look at Miss Lisa, even to this day, I think she's fashionable. I think she's put together. I think she's just well poised. So almost like she doesn't sweat, she don't get mad, she doesn't yell. That's what I think. When I see Miss Lisa, she doesn't have a temper. She's Miss Lisa, so she's always dressed to the nine, very polished, feminine. So that was definitely something I'll say. And then her personality, like she said, once we got to know each other, it just intensified what I thought. You know, she's very, very ladylike, etiquette, all that great thing balled into one. So that's how I felt about Miss Lisa. Patricia as well, very well put together, face, beat, hair, everything. I can see she don't play no games. I don't know why I got that impression. But as you can see from my other episode, she don't play no games because she got a little pink fanny, if you remember that. So I was not wrong. But she seems like a go-getter, someone who's serious about her, just serious about how she carries herself. You can't cross her. So I got that impression, but also getting to know her as well. She has a softer side, minus the fanny pack. You know, she has a nice soft side. But definitely. So those are my impressions of the ladies.
Well, I will say this, I'll admit this, that I did look on social media.
Oh. So you cheated before the date.
Kind of look at me, you know, sort of pseudo meet my co-host. Tanisha was, my first impression was like, she is really into health and fitness, but I'm gonna be in trouble. But I had said, you know, I'm gonna get to know her because I really need to get my health and fitness up to par. And like, really, it's funny because when you meet her, like, she is into health and fitness, but she's so much more. She's so much more. She's running around, she's wearing this hat, she's wearing that hat. Tanisha, I tell her all the time, you make me tired just looking at you with your schedule, because she's she's into so much. She does so much for the community, and she's just an awesome person.
Thank you. Here go her 20. Hold on. Let me cash app you.
Patricia, I wasn't sure about Patricia. I read her bio. And I don't know, but yeah. Patricia, I knew that I was going to be meeting some remarkable ladies, you know,
yes.
just looking at what the things that they're doing, their lives, that kind of thing. And then, you know, that's my girl. You know, she's gonna say what comes to her brain. And she makes me laugh all the time. Yeah, she makes me laugh all the time. She's hilarious. So
yes.
First impressions,
no, that was great. That was good. What about you, Patricia?
All right. So I'll start with you. When I first met Tanisha, I was like, I don't like it. I remember I told Reacee, I'm like, now you told me to reach out to this lady. I done DM'd her about exercise. She never responds. And then every time she came to film it, she was in her paper. She didn't want to be bothered. It seemed like, I was like, we supposed to be a sister. This lady don't want to have nothing to do with us. I was like, I don't like your pineapples. But as I got to know Tanisha, I just understood more about her. I understood the reason why she was always in her script is good. She's a very hard worker. She likes to, be very thorough. So at the time, I didn't understand that. I thought she just didn't want to talk to us. Like everybody else having a conversation and she looking at the paper. I'm like, what's going on here? Like, is it me? Do I stink? Like, what's going on? But I just noticed that that's how her work ethic was. Like, she's always in it, always want to do her best at everything that she does. So as I got to know her better, our relationship grew. And then when I saw Miss Lisa, I'm like, oh, I want to be like her when she grow up.
Yes.
When I grow up.
Yes.
She looks so good. And now me and Miss Lisa talk all the time. I don't know whether to curse or not curse, because I'm like, she always wants to be my mama, so should I be cursing? But then I be feeling like she the whole girl.
Right, so you don't know.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh Lord, I'm sorry, I don't know which one to do. We having conversations.
I ain't cursing in front of Miss Lisa, not me.
We be off camera, I'll be like, dang.
I ain't getting no whooping.
Catching myself, yes. Like she got children almost my age, and I'm talking to her like she one of my friends. My mama would be like, that lady is not your friend.
Right.
So yes, those was my first impressions of everyone.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
So some of them were accurate, some of them were kind of off, but like we said, you gotta get to know someone.
Right.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you can definitely miss out on opportunities by prematurely judging someone. Had I ran with that with Tanisha, I never would have got to know her on a personal level and know that she has a comedic side to her. She's an awesome person. If I had just ran with that first impression.
Right, and I know that can happen on your job, that can happen at church, that can happen anywhere. So it's almost like you have to give people an opportunity to really show who they are. So that's definitely something I learned almost daily when I'm meeting new people. When you see somebody on social media like Lisa had did a background check. A lot of times the background checks are accurate, but there's hope for
so much more to
so much more behind the check. So that's what I would definitely say too.
How can we show people how to be their authentic self? And risking all judgment and all ridicule, just be who you are. How can we do that?
I know me personally, I always keep a guard up. I always have a shell. Reason being is because I have learned in the past that when I let people truly into me, they end up letting me down. So it's kind of like a barrier of protection that I put up to keep myself from being hurt from other people. I know the only person that truly knows me wholeheartedly is my husband. That's the only one that gets to see the authentic Patricia. Anywhere else, I'm putting on a mask, you see this smiling face, you see this crazy girl saying anything. But when I get home, like I unleash everything that I have held in within that day to my husband. Like he gets to see the real me. My hurt and guard all started with two of my best friends. We have been best friends since high school. And I mean, I told them literally everything. Like we talked every day, all day. And when things ended, I felt very open because they knew so much of my business. So with me being in that state of mind, I'm like, well, I don't want to do that with anyone else. So now I'm only going to share so much with my friends. Even though other things go on in my life, I only share things now that I don't mind being repeated because of that experience that I had. And then I've come into contact with people that as soon as I meet them, they telling me all their other friends' business. Well, how can I trust you with my business if you telling me all your other friends' business that I don't even know? And then I've asked people to do things in the past and it didn't get done, and then it still ended up being me that had to get those things done. So that's kind of where my shell came into place, because I never wanted to be that open in life again with anyone else to where they know so much about my life and then things end.
I think as well, I've been in situations with girl groups, and it's not even sometimes, because I love women, and it's just so remarkable to me that, it comes out in that space. But I think not even with the relationship ending, but just little things that I see, and maybe I'm just too observant, but little things that I see when I'm dealing with women, where you go into something with a pure heart, and you look up and it's a competition, or you look up and somebody's thinking you have ill intent, You know, I've experienced that with women, you know, so it's kind of, you know, made me put that mask up and, you know, kind of the guard. Plus, I think some of it stems from me being an only girl. You know, I didn't have sisters, you know, and I think that's part of what I yearn for. I want to have that real close-knit, you know, sisterly kind of bond with women, and I just struggle with that. I really do.
Well, for me, I'm kind of opposite. And that is because my dad was in the Army, so I've lived several different places. So living several different places, I had to open up to new cities, new people. So I am not as hesitant as my ladies up here because of how I was raised. My mother also had us in the community young. I fed the homeless young. I saw prison ministry young. So I kind of see people as face value. I'm not big into judgment because I've seen all walks of life. So I think for me, just my background, my history allows me to see you as a person first. Have I been hurt? Yes. But the way I look at life now, I look at every person as if somebody can write me a check. Meaning they can bless me, meaning they can bless my life, they can bless my business. So I never want to miss out on an opportunity because I have a shell. This could be someone that can sow into my life, that can give me a positive word. So that comes with a mature mindset, but I'm not saying I've never been hurt, but I will say that, you know, there was a great girlfriend of mine who knew everything. And is it hurtful? Yes. But I look at every person as an opportunity to either be a blessing to them or to me. And I kind of just walk with that. And then I've learned to forgive over the years because I know that weighs on you. So I've had unforgiveness in my heart for a long time with some people, but I've had to learn in order for me to really, really walk how God wants me to walk, I had to let that go. So it's not about being carefree and meeting people and loving on everybody, which I do, but I have to understand that that person could hold a key that I've been needing for years or weeks or months, a key to freedom, a key to hope, a key to the next door, the next opportunity. So that's kind of how I look at things, but it comes with maturity, you know, and really understanding purpose and what is the connection between this coworker that's across the hall from me or the cubicle next to me that I really don't like at all. But it's about opening those layers and seeing what they need. You know, you never know a conversation and how that can bless somebody to that next person. So that's kind of my mindset with it.
I think so in the end too. We just have to, and I'm practicing this. I mean, God is working with me on this right now, is to just be judgment free. You know, it's so much going on with people having anxiety, having depression about things that are just them. And I'm just trying to put myself in a space where if that person is not harming my life by living theirs, live your life. Be who you are. Be happy in this space. None of us know how long we're going to be here. None of us know, you know, what may happen. And just live your life. Live your life in the way you want to live it that glorifies God. And don't worry about anybody else. Because in the end, whether you're doing the best thing in the world or the worst thing in the world, they're going to talk. You know, and I'm really, really putting an earnest effort in that on all levels to just let people be who they are. I've met some of the sweetest, nicest people who I may have disregarded in a past time, you know, just because of, you know, what I've let my ear gate allow, you know, in. And it's, I mean, I may have dismissed them where I've missed out on an opportunity. In that aspect, how can we learn who to be vulnerable with and who to kind of keep a guard up with, you know?
I think character. A person's character gonna speak to you. You will know who you can trust and who you can't trust. Their action speaks way louder than words. And people can hide under a mask for so long. They can be a wolf in sheep clothing only for so long before their clothing fall off, and then you get to see the real them. So I always judge people based on what they present to me. I'm gonna believe you the first time because I've learned sometimes you give people chance after chance after chance after chance to get it right, and they didn't deserve the second chance. So whatever you present to me is who you are, that's who I'm gonna believe. I'm gonna believe you the first time.
Like you said, I judge by their fruit. So if you meet somebody and their first conversations are of other people, how much confidence do you have in them when it comes to your business?
Right.
So I look at their conversations. What are their conversations about? Are they about other people? Or is it about other people's business? Like, you gotta listen to, and we talk about ear gauge too. What are they saying? What are they speaking into you? Is they speaking life? Or they're just talking mess? Are they just talking about people? So their fruit, their character should speak volumes really soon. But the crazy thing is, it might not. You know, they might be able to charm you, male or female. They might be able to show you all the great things. They're educated, they're this, they dress well. Those are all masks, right? So you have to be smart. You have to use wisdom and discernment. And when it comes to letting people in, because for me, a lot of people have had ill intentions when getting to know me because of social media. So I do have a ear gauge. I'm very sensitive when people reach out to me, always. Because you never know a person's intention when they see you appear or see you on social media. So you have to be very guarded in the sense of, why are you here? Why are you investing into me in this time, in this season? So I've had to deal with that a lot lately. But I'll say too, it's in your character. It's in your character, it's in your fruit.
You're right, because I mean, it's hard for me to be vulnerable with people. With everything for me comes down to time. How long have I known you? How much have we shared together? Not just time, but how are we together and what's our relationship? To me, everything is about relationship, because there are things that I will do for you because of our relationship. And conversely, there are things that I will not do for you because of our relationship. So you have to really kind of look into who you're going to be vulnerable with, because with me, it makes my circle small, because I have just a few friends that I've been friends with for that I know would ride or die for me, and those are who I keep close, and that's who I become vulnerable with.
The Heart of an Overcomer, freshman book written by author Sharitha Sherman. The ultimate key to healing is acknowledging that you've been hurt. Now available for pre-order. Go online at she'sanovercomer.com.
This has been such a great discussion between the ladies.
Yes.
And I hope that you watching are really, really unmasking even right now, because this is vital. This is important to really be your authentic self. And so we want to do an exercise where you can participate as well, mentally participate with us. And each co-host will have a scenario. And we're going to share that scenario, but we're also going to give some resolve to that scenario and how you and I have overcame it, how we can be better people. So we're going to take a few scenarios when it comes to unmasking. Okay? So, Patricia, you like to start?
All right. So my word is overachiever. So everyone knows with being an overachiever, sometimes you may feel like you're not enough. And I know for me that really hits home, because I do many things. So I'm always constantly doing things, but am I doing those things at 100%? Am I giving all that I can be in each aspect, in each activity that I do in my life? I know personally I'm a writer as well, and I can remember a time in my writing where I felt like I wasn't good enough. Like I wasn't enough, I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. So I felt like quitting. But then I can remember I was in the bathroom and I started crying, and God whispered to me, I gave you the gift, now use it. So immediately I picked back up that pen and it started flowing. All the words just started flowing. I was able to finish that book that night because I had reached out, I had cried it out, and I felt like I wasn't good enough. But God said, no, you are good enough. I gave it to you, use it. So that's some advice I can give as far as being overachiever and not being enough. Don't listen to outsiders as well, because people will hate on you. They'll see you doing things and they'll put negative things in your mind to make it seem like you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, or you're not on the level at what you should be. Like I know somebody had told me, oh, well, you're not a writer like that. Like,
Like what?
Like what? Like what you mean? So just tune out all the negativity and do you always.
I'll say for sure, overachiever is definitely a title of mine. But mine is a little different. Not saying I wasn't enough, but having expectations of myself that really wasn't expectations for myself. Meaning my dad's expectations of me, my mother's expectations of me. Like she said, the noise of people around me of having to achieve. So sometimes even in college, and you can look at my resume, it's almost like whose expectations was I really trying to fulfill? So a lot of times we try to fulfill and make others around us happy when in reality, I'm happy where I am, I'm settled, I'm content. So overachievers a lot of times are making others happy. And they're going to school because of dad told them to major in this, or mom told them to go to a 4-year institution. So my story is a little different. Not saying I wasn't enough, but was I enough for this person? Was I enough for this family member? So we want to change that narrative with overachievers, because that can really put so much pressure, especially our young people in school, in college. There's so much pressure on overachievers and expectation. And is it unrealistic to put that much pressure? So that you are enough, like she said, you are enough, and you have to start speaking that to yourself, that you are enough. So that is so true. So mine is people pleasing. Yikes, people pleasing. We can just stay right there for a few moments. People pleasing, and a lot of that reaction is because what? Overcoming rejection. Wanting to do what Lisa say, because you want Lisa to be your best friend, want to do what Patricia says so you can be liked. All that I've had to deal with growing up. I've been bullied since I was 9, literally 9, middle school, high school, college, because I did not want to be rejected. I was an itty bitty, small, short girl, and I always wanted to be pleased. I think that's what developed. I was short. Didn't have no chance. About 16, then I came out to my pool party, and I was like, Tanisha, yes. 16 years old, that's when they came. But anyway, the point I'm making is from middle school on up, I tried so hard to please everyone because I felt rejected. I was a tomboy. I wasn't the prettiest or per se, so that had a lot to do with how I matured. Even in college, I wanted to please everybody. I wanted to be a part. And so you really have to, with people pleasing, is really love who you are. Love how unique you are, how God has made you unique. And really feed that in your mind. I didn't know what affirmations were. And that's what we have to start speaking to our young people.
Right.
And once you understand who you are, how God has made you unique, He's made you wonderful, He's made you fearfully made, I don't care about these people. And I can say that now, but in middle school, high school, college, I wanted to please everybody. You know, not being from this city in Baton Rouge, I wanted to please everybody. I wanted to fit in because I didn't want to be rejected. But guess what? That rejection is a protection in a lot of instances. So I've learned that over the years.
Well, mine is overconfidence.
Ooh.
And I think that the other side of that could be like an insecurity. As a young woman, one of my strong points that, you know, maybe because I was insecure about some things that I just developed a confidence. Again, I was an only girl. I didn't have that sister group, you know, so it was like, I just developed this, you know, this confidence, and I never wanted it to be where it was something that I felt, you know, I gave off like I thought I was better. Or, you know, but no, I'm good with Lisa is what I want to kind of put forth, that, you know, and when I walk in a room, I want to command that room. So, and not in a bad way. So, I think that, you know, that could be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. You just kind of have to, you know, when you have that issue, just sort of deal with it.
That reminds me of the loudest person in the room is not always the smartest. They're not always the sharpest. And usually the loudest person in the room really don't have much inside. They have to be flashy. They have to be designer down. They have to wear this loud Gucci print craziness. And it's usually because they really don't have character, or they're just insecure. And so they have to be flashy. They have to be loud. They have to be the funniest, the cockiest. So that reminds me of some men, no men bashing, but that just reminds me of some men I met before that are just so flashy, so loud. It's like, you don't even know, what are we talking about? You don't have no substance behind that.
And like you said, it's not just men, it's women.
It's
too.
women
I know
too.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll come across women that, you know, just talk. You know, it's like a whole bunch of talking, and you're like, okay, who are you?
What are we getting at?
Yeah, let's hear something else. Let's see something else. And a lot of times, like you say, if they're doing a whole bunch of talking, it's not a lot of substance.
It's not. And I've met a lot of people in the business world too. They just are showy, showy people. You gotta watch that. Because when you're showy, that means you have nothing to offer me except your accolades and your this and your that. I'm not all about that. I'm about character. That speaks volumes to me. So I think that insecurity bleeds through the loudness, the chaos. Like, calm it down. We see your Gucci side. We see them.
I think that one can stem from the other, but I think that one is also acute.
Right. That's an interesting perspective.
And I know as women, we all have insecurities. I know me personally, I have dealt with my color and my body shape for a long time. That has been my two main insecurities, because growing up, I would always get told, oh, you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. It was never, oh, you just pretty. It was, oh, you pretty for a dark-skinned girl. So I felt at one point in time that I was dark. I wanted to be lighter. Like, my mom is lighter, my sister is lighter, and I'm like, so why I'm so dark? But my dad is dark, so I just took after his color. So that was a big issue for me, and I always wanted light-skinned babies. I didn't want dark-skinned babies because I didn't want nobody telling my kids, oh, you pretty for a dark skin. That was and then my body shape. I was shaped like a pea. I had boobs since I was in the 7th grade, but I didn't have no boobs. It was just flat back there. So growing up, and then even in high school and in college, people would say, oh, you pretty, but you nothing to chase after, because I didn't have like the voluptuous shape. So those were two of my main insecurities that I dealt with.
Well, I was opposite. Like I told you, I sprouted late, like leap year late, like when is it coming? So I was tiny, very skinny. I was referred to as thick. I was referred to as tomboy almost my entire school career, K through 12 almost. But I never was the pretty girl and all that. I was more so tomboy, and I didn't have nothing. At least you had a little something. I was just tiny, and I was teased. I mean, because I was smaller. And when I look back, I'm like, God really graced me, because that could have really went left. And I've shared with some people, and I share right now, is because a lot of people never know what you really went through. And so,
It's okay.
because I was sharing with Reacee and other people. I'm very strong.
Yes, absolutely.
And God will literally turn your enemies around.
Yes.
And literally have them come back and apologize.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And that's been happening to me. I mean, probably the past 5-6 years, God has elevated me. We know that. But I always remain humble because I was hurt. And the people who know me from social media, you wouldn't know that. You wouldn't know that. And so I'm going to share more publicly, because I don't want anybody to ever look at me and say, I have it easy.
Right.
You know, I never want anybody to look at me and say, oh, she ain't been through nothing.
Right.
So, you know, when we talk about masks, we have to really understand that people are hurting. People have been through things. And just because we get the makeup done, the hair, we're successful, we've graduated, you know, God has done great things in my life. But at the same time, there are plenty of nights where I didn't feel enough. You know what I'm saying? Getting all these accolades and trying to please people and trying to please family and friends and be accepted. But now to be on the other side, having literally women and men call me everything but Tanisha. Come in my inbox begging for forgiveness. Come in my inbox saying, I never should have said those things to you. Coming in my inbox literally saying, I know I'm not where I am because of how I hurt you. And that's because of God's protection over my life. So that's why it's easy for me to walk in a halfway house and touch women, because I've been there as far as vulnerability. That's why it's easy for me to walk in a prison cell. And I've done it for years. People don't know that humility because I wanted that. I yearned for that. So that's how God will use you, you know? And so even with this show, when people, and a lot of people misunderstand me. This didn't happen overnight. A lot of people misunderstand me because they see a face, they see a shape, whatever it may be. But I was hurt too. So, you know, I want to share more. And this platform starts that because I never want anybody to look at me and say, oh, she ain't been through nothing. I wear it well because I'm graced for this. But don't mistake that it wasn't some heartaches, it wasn't some pain, it wasn't some things I had to learn and grow from. Some of your strongest soldiers have been beat up, shot at, stabbed a few times in the spirit. So we have to remember that. And so I think it's so important tonight and today, whatever time you watch, is that these women have been through something.
I was going to say, you had mentioned earlier that, you know, people may look at us, even on this platform or on social media or whatever, and feel like, oh, I want Patricia's life, I want Tanisha's life, I want Lisa's life, but you don't know what it has taken to get where we are, you know. And a lot of times, you know, I'll share my vulnerability. I thank God that I did not experience a lot of rejection in my younger years, but I had this lazy eye. I had this lazy eye, and I remember every time I was so self-conscious of it. And every time we take pictures for school, you know, I'd find myself trying to do this. You know, so all my pictures in school are like, you know, but you know, you have things, because as I started dating, people were telling me, oh, that's sexy. You know?
Come on,
so,
sexy eye.
And it's all of, you know, according to perception.
Yeah.
You know, so who's perceiving you? But, you know, even a lot of times, you all, I think that even now, you know, with me being the mother of adult children, I've never let people put their perspectives on me. Now I will take your advice on some things, you know, but I think in parenting now I feel a little insecure, and it's like, how can, you know, people might ask, why, how can you be insecure? And they're raised and they're, you know, good human beings, decent human beings. But there are times that, you know, I pull up at my garage. You know, and you know, whether it's giving God thanks for the people that they are, or, you know, looking back on what I could have done differently. You know, you just don't know. And, you know, what I can do is look back and know that I did what I thought was best. My husband and I, and we did our best, and they're not gonna rob anybody. You know, they're decent human beings, which is, you know, the best you can ask, you know, from your parents.
I think that's so true, and I think today was such a beautiful conversation, unmasking the different layers into who you really are. So we really hope that we touched you on tonight, and we hope that you're able to unmask yourself.
Yes.
So until next time, I'm Tanisha Craig Stewart.
I'm Patricia Whitfield.
And I'm Lisa Cook.
And this is The Life Daytime.
She's an Overcomer presents Feeding and Clothing the Homeless for the Holidays, Saturday, November 12th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you would like to volunteer or donate, call 225-308-1473 or visit she'sanovercomer.com.
This is your life to